Hey everybody, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Croog.
I'm Indigo.
And we're here to talk to you today about Divinity Original Sin 2, the most awesome RPG ever made.
The game that has the most potential to be the best RPG game.
I think you can see where this conversation is going to end up. So for those of you that don't know, Divinity Original Sin 2 is an RPG that's following up Divinity Original Sin and the Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition that came out a while ago, I think last year or 2 years ago, I don't remember exactly. And it is kind of, in my opinion, the gold standard for RPGs. It's very open world. You don't have to get there yet, man. Just give it a minute. Let's get the...
I didn't say anything.
All right.
I didn't say anything.
It's a very open world game. It's very unrestrictive. There's a lot of interaction with characters. Every single character has, something to tell you or something to ask you to do. They all feel alive and unique and important, at least slightly important, if not very, very important. And the combat's very entertaining, very tactical, very methodical, and completely unforgiving. Specifically though, we're here to talk about the Game Master feature, which just recently released along with the full release of the game as it came out of beta on the 12th. And we got a chance to play around with it for a little while.
Yeah, I got to actually be the player, while you got to be the GM.
The Game Master. So if you haven't had a chance to experience it at all, the Game Master has two options for developing the campaign. You can either go straight into play mode with another player and just kind of develop the campaign on the fly. That's sort of their vision for the system. It's a very on the fly, very off the top of your head sort of system, something flexible enough for you to...
I actually have a question about that.
Sure.
So, because I didn't get to see the GM side at all, how's the map setting? Is it set here's the world, here's the maps, and then you get to place enemies and characters?
Sure.
Or are you building the map? Because if it's an on the fly, that seems kind of difficult to do for terrain.
So, right, the terrain is pre-generated. So they have different areas for you to play in, and then inside of those areas there are, buildings and, structures that are in the game, but you can also add stuff, as well as they're completely devoid of NPCs. So no enemies, no interactable characters, no traders, nothing. But let's take a step back. So when you start a game in play mode, you, the Game Master, can control where the players are on a mini-map. So that's the first thing that your players are going to see is a mini-map that shows, and again, there are a bunch of mini-maps for you to choose from that shows all the areas in your world. And you, as the Game Master, can place pins on locations of interest, and then you can link those pins to encounters that you've built. Right. So if he sees 4 pins on my map and says, okay, I want to travel to this location, then I can say, okay, and then I can take his character icon and show it traveling to that location, maybe tell any kind of backstory that I want to tell.
Random encounters?
Not random, but you could place encounters along the map.
So I mean, me as a player, I go, I want to go to this city that's way the hell up here. Right, and it's going to take 4 days for me to travel. Are you able to be like, oh, you're going to travel there, and here you're going to actually go here first?
So not every playable map has to be tied to the overall map. So I can have encounters that he can't see, and as he's traveling, I can just load an encounter that he has no idea exists, and then he has to resolve it before he continues, right? So that's kind of how the overworld works, where you're traveling on a map, and as the players reach places of interest, whether they know they're getting there or not, you load them into a scenario, and then they play it out, and then you continue in the overworld map, and so on and so forth. So in an actual encounter, the Game Master's role is kind of whatever you want it to be. You can pre-build an entire, enemy encampment and just let them run in and see how they handle things. You don't really have to interact with it. The AI for the mobs will control them if you let it, and the players obviously can just do whatever it is that they're going to do, and the game will react accordingly. You can also get super involved. You can take control of enemy characters. You can take control of allied characters if they have any allied characters. And you can create whatever you want. Every single item, every single character, NPC or monster, bosses, any archetype that exists in the game for a player character to choose, all of those are available for you to create in the world, as well as decorations, chairs, barrels, whatever. All of those things are free for you to create as a Game Master.
Well, and I mean, as a player, because when you were GMing and I was playing, as a player, other than the fact that you see a screen that literally says the GM has paused the game, other than that, plays just like Divinity Sin. Like you walk into an area, you can control what you do, and then the GM will like pause the game at any point and be able to do like a story or a narration of like, yes, you're physically seeing what's there on the map, but they could be like, see a shadow in the corner. Stuff that you wouldn't necessarily, or stuff that you can't necessarily do in game, but you can do through storytelling and like means. And as a DM myself, this has got a ton of really, really awesome potential.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I've played other games like the Sword Coast the game, and that had a really interesting system where you, as a DM, had certain amount of points to then put in and be able to place enemies based off of the team, and it just got a little weird, and I didn't like it very much.
Sure.
But I would like to play a little bit more on the DM side or the GM side in this game, because I want to see what I have to play with. But as a player, it's just like playing the game. Like there's no real difference. Your combat's the same, movement's the same, interactions the same.
Well,
everything.
I mean, interaction's the same up until you involve the game master, right? So if the game master wants, he can change the way the interactions work through two methods. So there's a vignette editor. So basically, I can, as the game master, pause the game and present the character with a dialogue. And if there's more than one character, it'll basically be a voting system. So I can say, I think during our campaign, the question was, oh no, generic town is being attacked by generic enemy, please help. And the answer was, player is a nice player, player is a dick player, or player is uncharacteristically evil, or something like that. And so that's just kind of an example.
Generic, yeah.
And then so if the players vote on which option they're going to go for, you as the GM can alter the encounter down the line to kind of fit with what it is that they're providing you.
I'll tell you, with that screen, it was really actually pretty. Like it wasn't just like a text box, like it had text and your choices, but then it had like an artistic style to it. It was like a piece of paper. It had like a drawing onto the side of it. Can you choose what's placed there?
The images, the border, the color of the background,
nice.
All of that's customizable. It's actually a really flexible system. There are some things that I didn't enjoy, and one of the big ones was the way that it handled encounters. So encounters are basically containers that allow you to like group mobs into a party. And then so you can say, okay, this is an encounter for a bunch of enemies. I can bulk set every creature in this encounter as a hostile or an ally or a neutral mob if I want. The thing that I can't do is if I decide that for some reason something he said makes me feel like there would be more of a threat moving forward than I had actually placed there. If I add a mob to an encounter that's hidden, it doesn't hide the mob that I added. That mob just spawns in the world with the rest of the hidden mobs, but it's not hidden. I just don't understand what that is. Like it limits me a lot in how I can modify encounters as the characters are moving through. Or, for example, if there are 5 encounters in a row that are on different, parts of a path, and my players have handled 2 of the encounters and it's been super easy, what if I want to add a couple mobs to the next ones just to make it a little more challenging? It's kind of difficult to do that. You kind of have to pause the game to do it. All in all, I think this is a wonderful system, has tons of potential. I think it's fun as it is right now. And even if you don't have the patience to sit there and create your own campaign, because it definitely takes a lot of patience, I highly recommend you get in there, try the base campaign, see if you can get another GM to run you through a group. There are tons of public ones, and I bet you'll enjoy it if you like RPGs.
Well, you guys let us know, is Divinity Original Sin 2 really like the next pinnacle of RPGs, or is it potential? Maybe.
I'll win him over.
That being said, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Please make sure to hit the like button. It super helps us out a ton, trust me.
It does.
That being said, I'm Indigo.
And I'm Croog.
And we've been GameGorgon.